Have you ever wondered what it truly means to live a life of service and devotion? Swami Vivekananda, the voice that awakened a nation, had a profound message that transcended spirituality and touched the very heart of humanity. Welcome back to our series on the life of Swami Vivekananda. In this episode, we delve into Swami Vivekananda's teachings on selfless service, the power of action, and his mission to inspire a new generation of leaders who would rise above their personal ambitions to serve humanity. Discover how his revolutionary ideas shaped not only the spiritual landscape of India, but also ignited a movement of selfless service that resonates even today. One day, a young man complained to the Swami that he could not make progress in spiritual life. He had worshipped images, following the advice of one teacher, and had tried to make his mind void according to the instruction of another, but all had been fruitless. "Sir," the young man said, "I sit still in meditation, shutting the door of my room, and keep my eyes closed as long as I can, but I do not find peace of mind. Can you show me the way?" "My boy," replied the Swami in a voice full of loving sympathy, "if you take my word, you will have first of all to open the door of your room and look around instead of closing your eyes. There are hundreds of poor and helpless people in your neighborhood. You have to serve them to the best of your ability. You will have to nurse and procure food and medicine for the sick. You will have to feed those who have nothing to eat. You will have to teach the ignorant. My advice to you is that if you want peace of mind, you shall have to serve others to the best of your ability." Another day, a well-known college professor who was a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna said to the Swami, "You are talking of service, charity, and doing good to the world. These, after all, belong to the domain of Maya. Vedanta says that the goal of man is the attainment of mukti, liberation, through breaking the chain of Maya. What is the use of preaching about things which keep one's mind on mundane matters?" The Swami replied, "Is not the idea of mukti in the domain of Maya? Does not Vedanta teach that the Atman is ever free? Why should it then strive for mukti?" He said on another occasion, "When I used to roam about all over India practicing spiritual disciplines, I passed day after day in caves absorbed in meditation. Many a time I decided to starve myself to death because I could not attain mukti. Now I have no desire for mukti. I do not care for it, as long as a single individual in the universe remains in bondage." Swami Vivekananda often used to say that different forms of spiritual discipline were especially efficacious for different ages. At one period it was the practice of austerities, at another period the cultivation of divine love, and at a third period it was philosophical discrimination accompanied by renunciation. But in modern times he emphasized unselfish service of others. Karma yoga would quickly bring spiritual results. Therefore he advocated the discipline of selfless action. He particularly advocated this discipline for the Indians because they were under the spell of tamas, inertia. The Swami realized that only after cultivating rajas would they be able to acquire sattva and attain liberations. As regards himself, the Swami had already known mukti through the realization of oneness with Brahman in nirvikalpa samadhi. But by the will of God, he had brought himself down to consciousness of the phenomenal world and lived like a bodhisattva, devoting himself to the welfare of humanity. Swami Vivekananda found it most difficult to convert some of his own brother disciples to his new conception of religion and its discipline and method. These brother disciples were individualists, eager for their personal salvation. They wanted to practice austerities and penances, enjoy peaceful meditation, and lead a quiet life of detachment from the world. To them, God was first and next the world. At least that was the way they understood Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. These young monks thought that for one who had taken the monastic vows, the world was Maya. Therefore, all activities, including the charitable and philanthropic, ultimately entangled one in worldly life. But Vivekananda's thought flowed through a different channel. Sri Ramakrishna had once admonished him to commune with God with eyes open, that is to say, through the service of the poor, the sick, the hungry, and the ignorant. During his days of wandering, the Swami had seen with his own eyes the suffering of the people and had felt the voiceless appeal of India for his help. In America and Europe, he had witnessed the material prosperity of the people, the dynamic social life, and the general progress made through science, technology, and organized action. Time and again he remembered the words of Ramakrishna, "Religion is not for empty stomachs." To his brother disciples, therefore, he pointed out that the idea of personal liberation was unworthy of those who called themselves disciples of Ramakrishna, an incarnation of God. The very fact that they had received the grace of a Savior should have convinced them of their sure salvation. Their duty, he emphasized, was to serve others as the visible manifestations of God. He said that he wanted to create a new band of monks who would take not only the traditional vow of personal salvation, but also a new vow of service to humanity. The brother disciples, who respected the superior spirituality of Vivekananda and bore him great love as the one especially chosen by the Master to carry on his work, obeyed him without always agreeing with him wholeheartedly. Thus, at his behest, Swami Ramakrishnananda, who had been the keeper of Sri Ramakrishna's shrine for 12 long years after the passing away of the Master, regarding his worship as the supreme spiritual discipline, and had not been absent even for a single day from the monasteries at Baranagar and Alambazar, left for Madras to found a centre for the propagation of Vedanta in South India. Swami Akhandananda went to Murshidabad to carry on relief work among the famine-stricken people there. Swami Subhadananda and Sharadananda had already gone to America. As for himself, Swami Vivekananda was constantly talking to people, instructing them in the Upanishads and enjoining them to cultivate the inner strength that comes from the knowledge of God residing in all human hearts. The strain of work and the heat of the plains soon told upon his health. At the advice of physicians, he went for a short change to Darjeeling in the Himalayas and felt somewhat refreshed. Returning to Kolkata, he again devoted himself to the work of teaching. Several young men, inspired by the Swami's fiery words, joined the order. 4 others, who had been practicing disciplines in the monastery under the guidance of the older Swamis while Vivekananda was abroad, were now eager to receive the monastic initiation formally from their great leader. His brother disciples expressed hesitation about one of them because of some incidents of his past life. This aroused Swami Vivekananda's emotion. "What is this?" he said. "If we shrink from sinners, who else will save them? Besides, the very fact that someone has taken refuge at the monastery in his desire to lead a better life shows that his intentions are good and we must help him. Suppose a man is bad and perverted. If you cannot change his character, why then have you put on the ochre robe of a monk? Why have you assumed the role of teachers? All 4 received their monastic initiation. On the day previous to this sacred ceremony, the Swami spoke to them only about the glories of renunciation and service. He said, "Remember, for the salvation of his soul and for the good and happiness of many, a sannyasin is born in the world. To sacrifice his own life for others, to alleviate the misery of millions rending the air with their cries, to wipe away tears from the eyes of widows, to console the hearts of bereaved mothers, to provide the ignorant and depressed masses with ways and means for the struggle for existence, and make them stand on their own feet, to broadcast the teachings of the Scriptures to one and all without distinction, for their spiritual and material welfare, to rouse the sleeping lion of Brahman in the hearts of all beings by the knowledge of Vedanta, a sannyasin is born in the world." Turning to his brother disciples, the Swami said, "Remember, it is for the consummation of this purpose in life that we have taken birth, and we shall lay down our lives for it. Arise and awake, arouse and awaken others, fulfill your mission in life, and you will reach the highest goal." Then, addressing the aspirants for the monastic life, he said, "You must renounce everything. You must not seek comfort or pleasure for yourself. You must look upon gold and objects of lust as poison, name and fame as the vilest filth, worldly glory as a terrible hell. pride of birth or of social position as sinful as drinking spirituous liquor. In order to be teachers of your fellow men and for the good of the world, you will have to attain freedom through the knowledge of the self. In the next episode, we will explore a powerful chapter in Swami Vivekananda's life that highlights his boundless compassion and unwavering dedication to serving humanity. We will delve into some of the most touching incidents that reveal his tender heart and his efforts to establish the Ramakrishna mission. Get ready to witness the stories that shape the Swami's legacy as a spiritual leader, a compassionate soul, and a visionary organizer. Thank you for listening till the end. Please subscribe, turn on the notifications, like, comment, and share with your friends. This will help more listeners to discover our channel and content.